Good morning everyone. Today we will be presenting on the topic concept of yoga in Hinduism. I am Kimberley and this is our group members. In today's world, yoga is often seen as exercise or stress relief, but in Hinduism, it is a deeper spiritual discipline. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit yuj, meaning to unite, referring to the union of the individual self, Atman, with the ultimate reality, Brahman. This concept is explained in texts like the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, which focus on controlling the mind, and the Yoga Upanishads, which include breath control, energy, and meditation. Yoga can be practiced through different paths such as Karma, Bhakti, Raja, and Jnana Yoga, but all aim at the same goal, liberation or moksha. Overall, yoga is not a religion, but a spiritual path towards self-realization. Thank you.
I am Khor Su Hua. Let's look at the historical development of yoga in Hinduism. Yoga developed over thousands of years in ancient India. Its earliest origin can be traced to the Vedic period, which emphasized rituals, meditation, and self-discipline. During the Upanishadi period, the focus shifts to inner spiritual knowledge, especially the concept of Atman and Brahman. The Bhagavad Gita presented yoga as a practical path for daily life through Karma, Bhakti, and Jnana Yoga. Later, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali organized yoga into the 8 lamps as a path to liberation. In later periods, Hatha Yoga emphasized physical posture and breathing practices. Today, yoga is practiced for both health and spiritual purposes. The philosophical foundation of yoga focuses on understanding the self and reality. Yoga teaches that human suffering is caused by ignorance or avidya, which create attachment to the material world. Yoga philosophy is linked to Samyak philosophy, which expands reality through Purusha, meaning consciousness, and Prakriti, meaning matter. Their interaction causes suffering and rebirth. The goal of yoga is liberation or moksha, through separating Purusha from Prakriti. The Upanishad also teach that Atman and Brahman can be united through meditation and self-realization. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali emphasize mental control, discipline, and ethical value, such as ahimsa and satya for inner peace and spiritual growth.
I talk about the major themes of yoga in Hinduism. First, regarding karma yoga. It is the practice of selfless action, that is, action not performed for one's own benefit. The correct spiritual path involves acting in accordance with one's duty, without attachment to personal rewards or the result of one's action. Karma yoga is considered a spiritual discipline consisting of selfless action performed for one's benefit of others. This refers to the act of devoting oneself to one's given duties and doing one's best without being distracted by outcomes such as success or failure. The path to the spiritual liberation through such efforts is the very essence of karma yoga. Escaping from real-world events does not equate to liberation from bonds. Karma yoga is described as an inner journey to fulfill the self and attain satisfaction, and the state of doing one's best to maintain peace of mind is considered the true state of liberation. Next, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, derived from the root verb junya, meaning to know, and it's the process of discovering one's true self. Here, knowledge extends beyond the purely material understanding to include deep insight into the spiritual sphere. Since knowledge is directly connected to the mind, deepening one's knowledge leads to the deeper understanding of one's own mind. However, this path is considered extremely difficult because it requires completely letting go of all attachments, such as wealth, success, praise, fame, or family. Traditionally, this path has been considered suitable only for a selected few. Furthermore, with changes in culture and language in modern society, it has become more difficult to interact the sculptures correctly or find a suitable teacher. Raja Yoga is also known as a mental yoga because it emphasizes awareness of the states of the mind. Through this practice, one learns to calm the mind and focus on a single point. Only repeatedly practicing mind control can we make the mind more calm. By doing so, we can quiet and control the mind, clearly hear the voice of conscience, and achieve a complete understanding of the self. In Sanskrit, the word Raja means king or the spring. Therefore, Raja Yoga means the spring yoga. Raja Yoga follows the Eightfold Path, and it is believed that practicing this principle leads to the attainment of its goal. Raja Yoga is considered the highest form yoga and emphasizes the attainment of self-control. When the mind becomes pure and calm, one is able to understand the spiritual and moral value. I'll explain about Bhakti Yoga. The Sanskrit word Bhakti derived from the root bhaja, which means to divide, to share, to participate, and to belong. This term symbolizes attachment, respect, worship, and devotion toward an object. Bhakti Yoga is considered the easiest path to master among the many paths of yoga. This is because it is regarded as the most direct method for achieving unity of mind, body, and spirit. Bhakti Yoga, it is said to require only an open heart filled with love. Since the essence of Bhakti Yoga is the path that leads to the liberation through the offering of love to God. While encompassing diverse meaning, Bhakti has been passed down through various traditions and is incorporated in diverse forms even today. Within the social context, Bhakti is often discussed as an exclusive identity. There is now a renewed discussion regarding the elements that constitute Bhakti, drawing on Indian philosophical perspective and diverse attachments.
Next, I will present the 8 limbs of yoga, also known as Ashtanga Yoga, that were introduced in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. These 8 limbs act as a guide towards spiritual harmony, self-discipline, and self-realization. In Hinduism, yoga is not only physical exercise, but also a complete spiritual practice that helps create harmony between the body, mind, and soul. It consists of yamas, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. The first limb is yama, which focuses on moral discipline and ethical behavior toward others. It includes values such as ahimsa or non-violence, satya, which means truthfulness, asteya or non-stealing, brahmacharya, which refers to self-control, and aparigraha, which means non-possessiveness. This teaching encourages people to live peacefully and responsibly in society. The second limb is niyama, which focuses on self-discipline and personal growth. It includes saucha or purity, santosha, which means contentment, tapas or discipline, svadhyaya, which refers to self-reflection, and ishvara pranidhana, which means devotion to God. Together, yama and niyama helps individuals develop inner peace, emotional stability, and strong moral values. The third limb is asana, which refers to physical posture. These postures improve flexibility, strength, and prepare the body for meditation. The fourth limb is pranayama, which involves breathing control techniques. Through controlled breathing, individuals can calm the mind, reduce stress, and improve focus and concentration. The fifth limb is pratyahara, which means withdrawing the sense from external distraction. This practice helps individuals focus inwardly and gain control over their desire and reaction. The sixth limb is dharana, or concentration, which involves focusing the mind on one object or thought without distraction. This stage requires patience and continuous practice. The seventh limb is dhyana, which refers to deep meditation. At this stage, concentration becomes continuous and effortless, creating a calm and peaceful mental state. Finally, the eighth limb is samadhi, which is considered the ultimate goal of yoga. Samadhi represents complete spiritual unity and enlightenment, where a person experiences harmony between body, mind, and soul. Overall, the 8 limbs of yoga provide a complete guide for achieving physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual balance. Objective and goals of yoga in Hinduism. First, the main objective of yoga is to unite the mind, body, and soul with universal reality. Yoga helps individuals overcome negative emotions such as anger, greed, hatred, and attachment. Through meditation, moral discipline, and self-control, yoga helps people achieve inner harmony and peace. Another important goal of yoga is self-realization. In Hindu philosophy, the true self is considered eternal and divine, but many people fail to recognize this because of ego and ignorance. Yoga helps remove this obstacle and allows individuals to understand their true identity through meditation, breathing exercise, and concentration. Self-realization eventually leads to wisdom, inner peace, and spiritual enlightenment. Yoga also aims to improve mental and emotional control. Regular practice helps calm the mind, improve concentration, reduce stress, and encourage a healthier and more disciplined lifestyle. In today's modern world, mental strength and emotional stability are very important, and yoga provides a way to achieve them. Lastly, yoga promotes moral and ethical development. The teachings of yama and niyama encourage values such as truthfulness, non-violence, purity, and contentment. These values help individuals build a good character, become more responsible, and maintain positive relationships with others and society.
I would like to present about modern relevance of yoga. Modern yoga remains highly relevant because it addresses physical, psychological, and social challenges in today's world. Although yoga originated in Hinduism as a spiritual discipline aimed at self-realization and liberation, it has now become a global practice used in school, hospital, workplace, and fitness center. In contemporary society, many individuals experience stress, anxiety, and unhealthy lifestyle. Modern yoga, especially through physical posture and breathing techniques, helps improve flexibility, concentration, and relaxation. Yoga has developed strongly as a health-oriented practice in the modern era. So at the same time, yoga continues to reflect its Hindu philosophical foundations. Modern yoga still remains connections with traditional ideas such as meditation, self-awareness, and spiritual discipline. So therefore, yoga is not only a form of exercise but also a holistic practice that integrates body, mind, and spirit while remaining adaptable to global society. So in conclusion, yoga in Hinduism is more than physical exercise. The historical development, philosophical foundations, major path of yoga, the 8 limbs of yoga, and its objective all demonstrate its strong connection to Hindu teachings. These studies show that yoga remains significant in modern society because it provides physical, psychological, and spiritual benefits. Although modern practice often focuses on health and fitness, the original Hindu values of self-discipline, mindfulness, and inner harmony remain central to its meaning. So therefore, this paper recommends increasing education about yoga historical background, maintaining awareness of both physical and spiritual dimension, and encouraging further academic research. Overall, yoga continues to serve as a meaningful bridge between ancient Hindu tradition and modern society.